This is intended to be a brief video with the intention of relaunching this channel in Interpreter. It has been a somewhat busy 5 years since I opened this channel with the intent of spreading some message to the world. But the question is, what is that message, number one? Can I achieve any clarity and simplicity in delivering a summary of the thoughts that I compiled in notebooks and in other writings on the side before the opening of this channel and thereafter? But secondly, I think more pressing is the question, what, if anything, is the value of this message, this knowledge or science that I've created or attempt to create through the synthesis of spontaneous thoughts that have occurred to me and that I've written down in notebooks over the years, and yet nonetheless have rarely discussed with other people. So rarely had these thoughts entered other minds, so that rarely have I heard them echoed back to me with paraphrase or commentary and greater interpretation to learn what are the strengths, but what are the weaknesses, what needs to be repeated, and what needs to be excised. So continuing on that thought, what I'd like to do in a somewhat disorganized fashion is to talk about one of my current projects with, however, the aim to expose indirectly some of my content so that it becomes manifest to me as soon as possible whether this idea or this stream of ideas that I've had since the age of 18, 19, 20, 21, when my mind was more fecund, whether these thoughts have any value, whether anything can be said in English or another language that is useful to another person moving forward. And so that's a brief introduction. Check my timer here. Spoken for 2 minutes. So that's a brief introduction to the relaunch of the channel Interpreter. One brief digression. So we're not necessarily going to be doing interpretation, whether of Franz Kafka or other authors. The intent of those videos was kind of SEO, search engine optimization. Why would you come to my channel to listen to what Adam has to say or what Interpreter has to say? There's no reason. So no query into a search engine. Very unlikely that a query into a search engine such as Google or Bing or whatever would actually yield results that would find this channel or videos on this channel. So why not talk about things that are already under discussion among students, scholars, private scholars, and curious people the worldwide. Right. So this is, what I've been doing every morning towards the development of a system, not just a book, maybe a school, maybe a system, to try to find the causes, dare I say, or the underlying motifs behind the stream of thoughts that occur to me. I see many boats sailing, some propelled by the wind, others by their own motors along the ocean. But I'd like to know the underlying pattern that governs the waves. What governs the waters on which these boats float. I don't want to chase after them, whether motorboats or sailboats, and so on. So we're almost out of time. But so I just want to say that lately my efforts have not been so much on new content, new writing, but re examination of older notes in older notebooks. And this re examination entails spaced repetition, that is, review of individual notes in a system or through an application really that I've written that follows an algorithm of repeated impressions of these notes, which are mostly images because they're handwritten. And I'll show you in another video so that we can talk more so about practices rather than individual ideas. So perhaps you have the problem that you have a lot of handwritten notebooks. You'd like to recover this content, summarize it, synthesize it, to try to extract some kind of useful system from this, whether a system to merely prevent mistakes in future thoughts, conversations, writings, or thoughts to positively guide you, not just say what not to do, but maybe a kind of North Star through your few seed thoughts, the ones that truly represent your essence at your highest moments of fecundity and probably the height of youth before reason and the brain fully matures such that you enter into a kind of arctic, very cold self-criticism in which it's difficult to create, but yet that atmosphere of reason could lead to the highest expression of your youthful thoughts. So, anyway, I do a big process of re-examination, about 10 to 15 minutes, but first thing in the morning, typically with caffeine. And yeah, so again, to recap, the point of this video is to relaunch the channel, to declare the aim of exposing the intention to found a system, but also by your comments, but also by my re-examination of these videos themselves, to answer the question whether this project, which is mostly hidden, done in the shadows, as though the censors or the authorities would find something wrong with it. So that's how it's done. But I want to know whether it has some value, because I have some financial concerns at this point in my life. Do I want to retire early, for instance, sometime in my 40s, in order to go all in on maybe the ascetic life, maybe the philosophical life? I'm not going to fix my thoughts in a single adjective to describe this life, but it does have big implications moving forward. Do I pursue a marriage? Do I pursue even a marriage with children? However you go about these great life events that truly change you. So yeah, that's kind of the point of this relaunch on August 26th in the year 2023 to 2023. Is there any point or any value? Do these words bring any value whatsoever to the market? We're out.